At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and it's that time of the week we're going to talk about the worst of the week. And I'll be honest, I generally speaking stay away from Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America. I don't particularly think Marvel put him on that series to write cool Captain America stories. I think he's on there to put across his message, his agenda. So like I said, I don't think he's trying to write good comics. I don't think Marvel wants him to write good comics. So I kind of just stay away from it. Not a lot, it's whatever. I'm here to review comic books. But this week, when you send me a picture of somebody in the Iron Patriot armor saying, "Yes, Queen," you have my attention. So I went out and I got me a copy of Captain America 23. I convinced Pele, their curmudgeon critical himself, the salty bastard, right here on Thinking Critical, to go out and get a copy for himself so we could read this and see if it's as bad as that one page looked.
I did not
Pele,
buy this.
What's the verdict?
I did not buy this. I want to make the record straight here. I did not buy this issue. I read a customer's issue. I almost tore that motherfucker up. And I had to remember, no, this is somebody's comic book. This is somebody who wants this comic book, and they're going to pay me money for it. So I put it back in the folder and resisted the urge to just tear it into little tiny fucking pieces. I tell you, if I took a big runny shit on a piece of paper and rubbed it real good and stuck a price tag on it, it's a better value than what you'd get buying Captain America 23.
And I like that you are a true capitalist, Pele, that, instead of making a political statement or a statement about the art and just ripping it to shreds because that's what it was probably worth, you said there's money to be made in this.
Yeah.
I'll put my personal feelings aside and sell to somebody.
Mm-hmm. I wanted my $350 for it, with discount, of course. I wanted my $350 for it, and by God, it's not worth that. Swear to God, if you want to buy these books, just wait, dig them out of the dollar bin or the 50-cent bin in 6 months or something like that. Don't buy these new. For the love of God, don't buy these comics new. This is absolute clusterfuck. It's garbage. But let's go into why.
Well, before we get into, I got to do the disclaimer. I probably should have done it earlier.
Yep.
If you do not like sarcasm, if you do not like jokes at the expense of your favorite character, that's Captain America, although he's not really in this comic. If you don't like salty language, worst of the week with the curmudgeon of critical himself is likely not the segment for you. I do plenty of segments, 2 a day, essentially. Yep. And most of them are not like this. So if that bothers you, if you have sensibilities that do not align with this kind of entertainment, like a comic book roast, just you don't want to watch this video because that's what we're going to be doing. Although at the end, we are going to talk a little bit about some comic collecting business. And I also want to say, if you're visiting for the first time and you enjoy this, we do it every once in a while. We do roast some comics here.
Yep.
Hit the bell for notifications, or subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Give us a thumbs up if you want more curmudgeon of critical sarcasm on the channel. Give us a thumbs down if you don't. Either way, we will be listening to your feedback in the comments section. All right, so I got to get right to the page that got me into this. And this, I don't know why this is a Captain America comic. This is absolutely a Sharon Carter comic. And I have read great Captain America comics in the past without Captain America in them. Most notably being the Death of Captain America storyline from Ed Brubaker, which is phenomenal. It's one of the best Captain America stories I've ever read. Brubaker had the last great Captain America run in comics. Definitely the best run in modern history, in my opinion. So you don't need Captain America in Captain America for it to be great, but it certainly helps. But this is not great. Apparently, Sharon Carter has returned from Dimension Z. She has aged substantially. She's not enjoying the aging process. She's boxing a younger version of herself. And it says some of the worst inner monologue dialogue I've ever seen. Obviously, the coup de grace is right here. She's fighting this, I believe she's a sorceress named Selene, and she punches her face through a wall and says, "Yes, queen, yes." And then she says,
Oh.
damn it, karma for cultural appropriation, as she realizes she has to go save somebody.
Jesus Christ.
You can't make it up, Pele.
Trigger warning, bitches. This is shit. I'll tell you. This is I cringe so fucking hard on this that I actually hurt my shoulder. The cultural appropriation. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Queen, slay. We've had enough. Can't we just ban Twitter bullshit in comics now? I mean, it's enough. Enough's enough. This is done. This is over. We have to stop buying this shit, people. I tell you that every single week when we talk about this stuff, when we talk about these bad comics, and we talk about these Twitter idiots that are social justice morons who are writing these books, the woke idiots, we have to stop buying these comics. The companies are actually listening now. They're actually listening. They're paying attention to their bottom line, people, and you're still buying this shit. Stop buying this shit. And
yeah, you should definitely just expect more. I've read quote unquote SJW comics that are actually done pretty well. They're good. They're effectively done. There's good storytelling in them. This is not that. Like, you have to demand better. This is less than what Captain America is such a cool character. It's the series has been around for such a long time. It like breaks my heart to see it drop to this level.
There's actually some fairly decent middle of the road artwork in this book too, is what's so bad about it. I mean, not the backgrounds and shit, because damn artists are lazy fucks. But, there's actually some middling type of artwork. It's not absolutely offensive in this book, and it's just totally destroyed by the worthless writing. And there is no tangible plot, really. There's no hook to get you involved in the characters. There's just quips, and there's one-liners, and there's zingers and bullshit like that. It's how are they getting away with this? How are these quote writers getting away with this? Are the editors at Marvel just completely asleep at the wheel? Are they completely just mailing it in and just saying, "Oh well, we can't tell these people no"? They're the creators. We're just going to check their spelling, which they still, there's 5 spelling errors in this comic or something like that, and just go on their happy way. You're right. We should demand better. We have to demand better. This is one of the worst comics of 2020, and that's saying a lot.
It's weird. I think Coates, known more as an essayist and a kind of an opinion maker, obviously, than a comic book writer. And I think he tries to hide the fact that there's nothing to say in this comic book, just with action.
Yep.
But, action for no purpose. Like, eventually, it has to serve something. And, in this case, it's just so, yes, queen, I'm going to punch you through the wall. And it's like, well, you actually do need a story.
It makes me nauseous. We were talking about we were talking about before we went live here. We were talking about the Batman, the fight between Harley and Punchline, and that was like all action. Like that comic was all action, but it was 1,000 times more entertaining than this comic with action, because you actually got story, you actually got 2 interesting characters duking it out. You had something going on in the background to kind of hold the whole thing together. This, you have nothing. You've got absolutely nothing. What's Selene doing in this comic book? I mean, there's no real plot to any of this. It's just, oh, look, she's back and she's pissed and she's going to take it out on somebody because she's becoming an old maid. Oh, come on.
Well, the worst part is, this is a Captain America comic, and you're like, but sometimes Captain America can play second fiddle, but he does not play second fiddle in this comic. He's third fiddle. Not only is Sharon Carter, obviously, who the comic book is about, but also Shuri makes him look like a doofus. Look at him in this comic. Look how pathetic. Look at what a loser.
What a
pose.
loser.
But Shuri, can I do something?
No.
God.
It's emasculating. It's absolutely emasculating. If your dick doesn't fall off after you read this comic book that I don't know what's going on with you. This is just disgusting. Yeah. Oh, it's 2020 is the year for women in comics. Well, yeah, so was 2019, so was 2018, so was 2017, 2016. Keep going back. That was the year for women in comics. And they just keep making the men more and more and more pathetic. And now they're
The
just
word I would use is pussified.
Yeah, pussified. Simps.
Yes.
Absolute, just no testosterone, low T, no T, balls haven't dropped, pre-pube idiots. And it's worthless. It's worthless. Don't buy this shit.
Yeah, Captain America, one of the most venerable characters in comic book history, one of the most powerful comic characters in the entire Marvel Comics universe, storied history. But Shuri, we're on the clock. Hold up, Cap. I've got to make Sharon Carter 25 again. So by the end, she is a young woman again. Maybe she and Steve Rogers will date if she gives him permission to ask him out or ask her out on a date. Who knows? I'm sure he'll be making mixtapes and making YouTube videos begging for her to let him take her out for a Japanese steakhouse or something like that. It's just pathetic, man. You hate to see this happen to Captain America. I feel so bad for Doug. Doug Ernst is one of my good friends. He's helped me so much out with the channel. This is his favorite comic book character. This and Spider-Man. He can't read fucking Captain America because he's so pathetic.
Yeah,
such a loser in his own comic.
This is the Supermaning of Captain America, right here. He's Bendist. He is Bendist Captain America, and it's that seems to be the way things are going now. You can't have strong masculine characters in comic books. Thor became a complete pussy. You have Captain America as a complete pussy. Tony Stark's a pussy. There are no real men in any of the comics now. Can you who? Okay.
Hey, there was even a Conan comic in Jason Aaron's run where he was like in a tent full of like all these women, and he didn't try to hit on any of them.
Oh no.
Conan is the horniest character in the history of fiction.
He mounted over like 500 women in the first 50 issues of the original comic, and by God, he was a man's man. And I'm not saying that horn dogging is the way to go, but he was Conan. He is the horny Cimmerian. He is Cimarron. I don't Cimmerian. I'm sorry. I'm pissed right now. I'm not thinking straight. But I just don't get it. They're not allowed to be men. Men aren't allowed to be men in comics anymore. And if you're expecting anybody to be a male role model, no, there are none. I can't recommend any modern comics today to any fathers that are going out and looking for proper role models and comic characters for their kids to read. We have Miles Morales. That's about the only character that they will not just absolutely make look like a fool.
Yeah, there you go. I guess he's for the younger audience. All right, Pele, do not buy this shit. Pele and we're telling you, it's been an epically bad run of Captain America. And, is this the icing on the cake? There's been some other stuff that maybe has been worse. It's definitely up there. So getting away, I don't want to talk about this.
It's arguable that Cap ended long ago, but this is just shitting on a dead corpse. This is defiling a corpse, and just no. This is 0 out of 5 stars. Do not buy. Destroy on sight. Don't buy this shit. No.
So we do have to talk about a little bit of business, talk a little shop, Pele. You've been talking about the rising prices of key collectible issues, namely first appearances, key collector issues, especially highly graded. And you kind of gotten to the bottom of it. What the hell is going on here?
Well, it's kind of curious what's going on. It's specific issues. It's the big key issues. Hulk 181. You've got Giant Size X-Men #1. The bigger key issues from the Bronze Age and Silver Age. And I've noticed that we have new players right now that are involved in the collector's market. People who haven't been buying into it before. I kind of touched on this. And if you want to watch the Comic Aficionados from Saturday, we kind of I brushed on this just a little bit. But there are investors now that are really taking interest in the key collector market, and they're buying in huge lots. Now, if you looked at how much it would cost to buy Tesla stock to be a significant owner of Tesla stock, you'd have to buy billions and billions of dollars in stock to own 1% of Tesla. But if you took just a fraction of that money, just a tiny fraction of that money, you could buy all the first appearances of Wolverine. You could buy all the first appearances of, the first giant. You could buy all the first appearances, in giant size X-Men. You could buy all the issues of Fantastic Four number 1 through 50, for less than it would cost to buy 1% of Tesla stock. And they're taking note of this. They're paying attention now and seeing that they can control a market. They can control the collector's market of high grade comics for very, very little equity compared to what it costs to buy the securities. So that's what they're doing. And they are moving in at an alarming rate. One thing, it's untraceable. It's a non-traced asset. I'm not going to say it's untraceable, but it's an asset that's not easily traced. You don't have to pay securities taxes as far as having to, maybe that's something that they need to start looking at for comic books. But as far as paying, the higher taxes for buying and selling securities, selling stocks and bonds, you don't have to pay that. And that's what they're looking at right now. It's called a capital gains tax. It's you just have to pay a sales tax. You just have to pay your tax on sale, but you're supposed to on a private sale. But it doesn't, it doesn't look to me that it's going to be stopping anytime soon either. And
I got a question, Pilate. So right now they're going on the big key collectors, the high priced, real, your AAA kind of comic books. Mm-hmm. Once the market dries out as far as what's available, and they've kind of scooped all those up and they put them in portfolios and sold them off, are they going to start going down and starting inflating those prices?
Yeah, they're already starting to move down to smaller keys. Already seeing that Ultimate Fallout 4, first appearance of Miles Morales. The Jakovic or whatever, 1 in 10 variant. You can't find those. You can't find an issue of that for less than $5,000 now. It like a 9.2 or 9.4. That was a 1 in 10 issue, or 1 in 25 issue. That's insane. These were comics that, were $25, $50 forever. And now $5,000, $6,000, $10,000. I know that Miles Morales is a hot character, but it's this goes beyond the pale. But seeing that in other books too going on, you can't find a copy of Fantastic Four 48 in high grade. You can't find a copy of Fantastic Four 49 in high grade. You've got, even moving on down the line, Iron Man #1. You could go to any show and find like 100 copies of Iron Man #1 in fairly high grade. All the sellers had them. It was kind of like a ubiquitous thing. And now they're gone. They've dried up. They're in people's collections. They're being hoarded and stored away. You're starting to see X-Men #1 through 50, the original run. All of these books are gone.
What should the viewers do if they are collectors, if they're looking to get into the collector's market, or if they're already into it? Should they be holding on to the ones that they have? Should they looking to get rid of them while the prices are spiking? Now they shouldn't be trying to buy those comics because the prices are inflated, correct?
Yeah, the prices are insane right now. If you can find a good deal, I would recommend it. not all sellers are really going crazy right now. I have been able to still find some good deals on books, but you have to be a lot more careful. I don't think that the ceiling has been reached on these big key issues. They're going to still keep going up. The market is still pumping. Next year, I think it's time to reevaluate that and look again and see where we are at that point. But I still think that those issues still have another 10, 20%, 30% left to go. The ceiling hasn't been reached. But if you do want to sell right now, take some profits. I can't blame you. But just realize that you're probably going to be leaving some money on the table. We just worked a deal with a group that does collectibles buying for investors, and it is very, very profitable deal, selling over fair market value, and the guy didn't even blink. So just realize that there's more room here. I don't like it. I like the collector's market for collectors. I know that there's investment opportunity here. I'm not an anti-capitalist. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not against capitalism, but we're seeing a real manipulation in the market right now. And 40, 50, 100% gains in a year are not healthy. That's not a healthy market. That's a market that's being inflated. When these investors eventually do get sick of the market, or they're going to see that there aren't the gains there that they were hoping for, or they're ready to move on to the next hot thing, and they start taking their profits from this inflation, then you're going to see a crash, and you're going to see 30, 40, 50% crash on these books as they normalize back down. You're going to see a correction, not crash, more like a correction, but you're going to see these values deflate back down to where they probably should have been in the first place. It's kind of like a stair step. Collectibles don't go up steadily over time. They stay pretty flat, and then they spike upward, and then they stay pretty flat and spike upward. And but this time we're going to see where it was flat, that spiked upward like crazy, and you're going to see the correction start to come back down, like I was talking about before, and eventually it'll start to climb back up again. So if you're looking to get in, these are books that you really, really, really wanted. Unless you find a rare deal right now, wait. These investors are going to get tired in a couple years. They're going to move on, and the comic book market is going to normalize back down. So,
well, Pele, I do want to say thank you very much for informing the viewers. Buyer beware on the current comic book collecting market as far as keys, and definitely be aware that they're going to start moving down to some of the lesser desirable keys once once they've taken away all the supply of that. They're going to start moving down and start spiking the prices on those.
Well,
I do appreciate this.
Oh, hold on. It's not affecting the entire market here. It is, in a sense, that it's causing associated books and related books to kind of dip upwards too, because it kind of, the rising tide lifts all ships. But it is going to, there's natural growth in some of these titles, and I'm not talking about those, but I am talking about the crazy growth that we've seen lately. Just hold on to your money. Don't get taken in by this, and just relax and wait.
Well, thank you very much, Pele. Hopefully the viewers heed your warning, and I'll talk to you later, brother.